Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining my second installation to the Peach Ridge development vlogs. I've got some cool stuff to show you today, so let's get into it. So it's been about a month now since our last update with Peach Ridge, and the project's come a really long way in that time. So what I'm going to be showing you today is a video that we gave to our audio team for their visual reference when creating audio. It's a mock-up of our first district with some coral in it and some fish moving around, just to give them an idea of the sense of world that we're creating and the sense of world that their audio will be applied to. First things first, I really wanted to quickly detour and show you guys this autogrid that I created. The way that autogrid works is you can apply it to any mesh, and it uses texture projection on world coordinates, so you can continue scaling that mesh up, but the texture will remain the same. The texture grid, apologies, will remain the same. And this has been really handy for scaling. It actually highlighted some scaling issues that we had. I had initially been using supergrids, but unfortunately supergrids didn't really take me past the early block out phase. I really wanted to apply it to my own unique shapes, and I couldn't quite figure out how to do that. So perhaps that was just me. I'm not sure if it's something that the package allowed, so I started looking for my own alternative. So here it is here, the world aligned texture. And basically what happens is you take your texture object and it plugs into the texture object T2D. Then we take a constant value and we plug that into the texture size. So then this sets the scale of the grid, or sets the scale of the texture projection in Unreal. Then we output the X, Y, Z values and we take it into a multiply. And we multiply the A channel, and then we put a color vector into the B channel. It is important to note that in this case, I'm changing this value here. So that's why it's an A value. If we reverse these, then we'd be changing this value here. From the multiply, we just put it straight into base color. I'm sure there's lots of other fancy things that you could do with this. It is quite a simple setup, but this serves me for my purpose in this project. And then I've also just got some constant values here that go into spec and roughness. I just wanted to simulate a bit more that we're underwater, so they're quite low. And the other important thing to note here is that I changed this into a parameter so that I could then go in, and make instances from it. So you'll see here that I've got various other colors, and yeah, they're all instanced from the master. So it's a really handy tool. I hope if you do use it that you find it helpful. Here's the demo. I'll probably just skip through it quite quickly, but I'll talk you through it as we go. So first of all, we have the district one. So we have our opening composition here. And we have a little fish. And it is important to note that all of this coral won't be here in this district. This was just purely for audio's reference. And then here we have our first animation. If the player does choose to go through that loop, then that's what will happen. And then we move into District 3. And then we have our first point of decision for the player. They can go into that district over there, or they can come down here through this cavern into the district here. I believe that's District 2. Or if they choose, they can go up above into the District 6, I think it is. Yeah, District 6. So all of this is quite barren still because we haven't populated it yet. There was no need to fill the entire scene with coral and fish. These green points here are seagrass, and the dugong will be grazing within the seagrass. And there's 3 of these seagrass patches on the map, and whenever the player gets close to the dugong will swim to a random other seagrass patch, and only when all the coral have been found and all of the litter have been collected can you then approach the do wrong and get the picture and complete the perfect game. So this marker here, this is a animation marker. So this is a plastic bottle, and when the player picks it up, an animation will trigger. And they'll turn it over and it will read, please recycle responsibly. And then District 7, we also have another animation marker here. Whoops. And this is a gas bottle. When the player picks it up, the fish swims out. So these are the previs for that. Amy will take you through those, I'm sure. So finally, we're going to show you a quick demo of the UI. The UI and the camera system is not up and fully functional yet. So what I've done is I've just thrown some bits and pieces together to simulate how it would work. So the player taps the top icon, the phone comes up, they tap captured, then the picture would move down into, oh, this moves really fast. So yeah, it's captured, and then this image would then move down into here, which is why this is circled. Then to view this image, the player would tap here, and then the image would come up, and it would then say, hey, you've identified this coral. Well done, 1 reef point has been awarded. But then there's also some other species in here, and they're unfortunately too far away from the picture for the phone to read. So the error message comes up, these are unreadable, move closer. If the player had been closer, it is worthy to note that they would have probably got a combo point. They would have got this one, they would have got this one, and they would have got a fish as well. So that would have been some extra reef points for them. So that's where we're at with the project at the moment. I'm really excited for the next video update where we can show you a working prototype. If you want to get in contact with us, please feel free to reach out to us on Twitter, give us a follow, or even leave us a comment below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Take care.